Most founders think they need to hire more salespeople, but what they actually need is a sales system that works. If you're closing deals yourself as a business owner and your reps can't replicate what you do, the problem isn't the reps. The problem is you never extracted your process into something repeatable. And in the last two videos, I broke down the 5 components you need in the 3-day onboarding that makes it work. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact 10-day build that installs all of it. As a business owner, your sales process lives in your head. You know what to say, you know how to qualify, you know how to close, but the knowledge is stuck with you. And your reps can't access it, they can't replicate it, so they can't scale it. So they keep asking you questions and they keep coming back for answers. And you simply keep jumping into calls because they're not ready. And ultimately what this does is this keeps a huge bottleneck in your business. This creates a ceiling. Your revenue is directly tied to your availability, and you can't grow behind what you personally can close. And the only way out is to extract everything that's in your head into a documented system. If you're a business owner and this is your situation and your sales team still depends on you being involved, there's a Typeform application linked in the description below where we will review your sales system and identify what is breaking conversion. Now let's get back to the video. Now, in your 10-day sales infrastructure system, days 1 and 2 are not onboarding, they're simply extraction. Everything that lives inside your head as a business owner is going to be documented. Me personally, I typically build this in Notion, but you can create any type of course. And the objective is simple. A rep can self-serve answers without texting you 40 times a day. So first off, what you're going to document is you're going to document everything about the company. CP, who you guys help, who you don't help, what their pain points are, what makes prospects buy, and what makes prospects don't. That's number 1. Number 2 is going to be customer journey. So it's going to be what it looks like from a customer to fill out your ad to getting onboarded as a client. And why this is so important is because both setters and closers need to understand actually what's going on in the marketing so that they can use the same language and actually have continuity between what is said. Because if one thing is being said in marketing and another is being said on sales calls, there's going to be no continuity and there's going to be a huge gap as far as the lead conversions go. Now, after that, you're going to go over every single sales framework. So you're going to break down the setter framework, how to actually properly set appointments. You're going to go through the closer framework, which is going to understand how to close deals, and then objection handling, follow-up processes, and cadences. Okay. Now, reps don't need creativity, they need clarity. And you need to break down step by step how to actually do this. Okay. So next step is going to be SOPs. So for SOPs, you need to show everything. You need to show, okay, here's how to confirm calls. Here's when to confirm calls. Here's how to properly set appointments. Here's how to properly update the CRM. And here's how to properly log training and log end of day call reporting and sales call review training. Now, lastly, what you're going to do is you're going to have your reps go through your CRM and ultimately get clarity on the tech. You're going to talk about the pipeline stages, clear movement rules, and how to actually track everything. The last thing you want is an operational bottleneck when your reps get onboarded and they're starting to close deals. Because any single time that a rep is not on the phones, whether they're dialing or taking appointments, essentially they're capped. Because sales should do sales, and obviously you have to do admin work when you're doing sales. But if you can understand it from the get-go, your job is going to be a lot easier. So what you have to do as a business owner is explain the tech and the CRM rules so basic that a 5-year-old can understand it. Once you do that, your rep should have no questions whatsoever. Now, on days 3 and 4 of creating your installation system, you're going to go ahead and create the framework. And what you're going to do is you're going to tighten the selling process itself. You're going to formalize what actually happens in discovery, what disqualifies a prospect, and what must be said before the close. Okay, and this is where founder improvisation becomes repeatable language. Now, your rep is not going to be guessing. They're just operating inside your defined lanes. And this is what makes the 3-day ramp actually work. Because reps don't need freedom. They need to actually know what to say and how to actually close deals. Okay. Now day 5 and 6 is all about accountability and infrastructure. And as a business owner, you have to understand and set proper KPIs for your reps. And you have to have pipeline minimums, activity standards, and ultimately review cadence. And here's where you stop wondering if reps are working. You stop relying on emotion, and you're actually just looking at data. And now performance can become measurable and you can actually see what's working and what's broken. And now you can actually manage by the outcome and not by some silly gut feeling. Now on days 7 to 10, you're simply just going to install the ramp and you're going to remove yourself as the founder. So days 7 and 8, you're going to plug in the 3-day onboarding framework from the previous video. So as you know, day 1, which is going to be offer mastery, day 2, which is framework and language, and then day 3, which is controlled live execution. And because the infrastructure exists, the ramp compresses to 3 days. But without the infrastructure, onboarding typically takes like 30 days or even 90 days for some companies. Okay. So really what you want to do is have a repeatable process. And by now, as a business owner, after day 10, the goal is for you to stop jumping onto calls, to completely remove yourself from taking at least day-to-day calls. As a business owner, if you don't have a sales manager in place, that's perfectly fine because you can manage the sales reps, but you shouldn't be the one actually hopping on the calls. And that's the whole goal. And as you scale with this process, especially if you're a new business owner, the goal is for the next 90 days, you're going to see how this works and then slowly transition and place in a sales manager. And how you can do that, you can either place a sales manager that is currently within the company. Now, there's going to be another video that I create on this. It can be a top rep, but the top rep has to be more of a manager type guy. There are some guys that are amazing closers, but they're really not good leaders and they're not good managers, okay? Or you can go out and fill that specific role. But the 10-day sales infrastructure system allows you to go ahead and take the first step out of sales, which is you just being on calls all day long. So once you do this within 10 days, you're slowly going to see how performance works. And if you did everything leading up to these videos, like building out the actual process, following the frameworks, and ultimately building everything out so that it's repeatable and you actually have a repeatable process in the first place, your sales reps are going to absolutely crush it. Okay. Now, a big thing that you guys need to understand is you guys need to understand the 80% rule. What's the 80% rule? Anytime that you delegate in your business, whoever fills the gap, they're going to do about 80% as good a job as you can do it right now. Okay. Now, what this means is you shouldn't accept it as an end all be all, but you have to accept it for the time being. Because if you only see them producing 80% of what you're able to produce, you're going to freak out and you're ultimately going to hop back into the calls. You need to understand these people are new to this. This is a brand new company. Even if they have experience with sales, you need to give them at least 30 days to ramp up and actually start seeing good enough results. Not to say that they need to wait 30 days to actually hit KPIs, but it does take reps, a couple weeks to actually hit their stride. Okay. So 80% rule, that happens no matter what you're delegating for, even if it's for marketing, if it's a VA. And as a business owner, you got to accept the fact that not everyone can do things as well as you. But if you're only capable of doing what is worth your calendar and the calendar that you live by, you're never going to be able to scale. You would rather have 80% quality of 10 calls versus 100% quality of 1 call. This system is for founders doing at least $10,000 to $70,000 per month who already closed deals themselves and they have product market fit. You're simply just tired of being the bottleneck in your business. This is not for beginners. This is not for people who don't have product market fit. And this is certainly not for people who have not closed any deals. This is for business owners who started to close deals, have a great product, but they need to actually scale, okay? And in reality, all you're doing with this is you're creating leverage. And you can certainly try to build this alone, but it is going to take months. Or you can go out and compress the build into 10 focused days and install the machine correctly. And once this machine exists, hiring becomes leverage. But before that, hiring is simply gambling. You can hire a 10 out of 10 sales rep, but if you don't have the system in place, they're not going to be productive, okay? And most B2B founders that I work with recoup their investment in the first 45 days of their rep being productive. Now, if you're a B2B business owner that wants to build a sales team that runs without you, go ahead and fill out the type form below, and we'll see if you're a good fit. Thanks, guys.